What is going on, guys? This is Versus All Gaming with my review of Strike the Blood episode 14. And this episode, it was definitely good. It was a nice build-up episode because clearly next week everything is gonna go down. But this episode, I definitely enjoyed it quite a lot. So it starts off with Kojo. We all know that he's trapped in Yuma's body. So he actually goes to Yukina's place because, of course, she's the one that can help him the most. But of course, when he goes there, Yukina just getting up. And because of the way that she is dressed, she invites Kojo in. And once he goes inside, and he gets a good look at her, of course he blushes. But he sees that Kanase, who's also there, she's changing. And Astrate, Shorty has on her costume. And we actually see a new opening and ending in this episode. And I am definitely liking them. I am loving the new ending, by the way. To me, that ending is great. I do like the new opening more than the old one. So they are definitely doing a good job of that. I definitely enjoyed it. So then we go to Asagi, who was at her job, and we learned that just everything in this town, it's just kind of messing up right now. And even though they're networking and their numbers seem fine and everything, something is clearly wrong here. And then we have this new person that we had never seen before, and his name is Tank. And we see that his avatar is literally a tank with a person, coming out of it. So this guy is like a super hacker like Asagi, but of course we all know that Asagi is like the queen of them all. So this tank guy must be somebody close to her level, but not, below her. But we see after she managed to work all this out, she actually came across these archives from 10 years ago. And we actually learn about this witch who's called the Witch of Notaria. Now we have no idea who she really is, but she's this criminal that was really big 10 years ago, like after this dark oath grimoire incident, but now she's in prison. So this woman, she was a bad person because she definitely caused trouble, but now she's been taken care of. But then we go back to Kojo and his friends, and he actually tells them who he really is, by him not being really Yuuma, but he's Kojo. And so at first they're like very skeptical of this because they don't really believe it. But after asking him a series of questions, they finally realize that it really is Kojo. And it was definitely funny that the question that actually convinced Yukina it was him and was the one that he actually got wrong. Now that right there was really hilarious. But they actually go back to his apartment, and they see that Yuma's not there obviously, and his sister Nagisa, she's gone as well, but she did make breakfast at least, so it's not like Yuuma kidnapped her. So now they have to look for her because we all know that Kojo definitely needs his body back. And Yukina was saying that Yuuma had to know that he was the fourth progenitor, which is why she wanted his body in the first place. Because clearly she has a reason, for wanting it. And it was definitely cool the way she was using it, because at one moment we actually see her using his body as she teleports them somewhere else. So that right there was like definitely cool. And then we go to Sayaka and La Folia. And these two, woke up in bed naked. Now clearly, that right there was some definite fan service for this episode. But it's not like, it bothered me about it. But we learned that, that these two are actually being teleported all over the place. And their final stop was actually into this room. And so Sayaka actually fell. So, fell asleep with her clothes on. But La Folia took the liberty of taking them off, so we all know that they slept in the same bed together. But La Folia here is thinking of a bigger picture because Sayaka was saying that the person was doing it was like a prank. But clearly the way this is going on, because people that have like a high magic level, they are definitely suffering like Sayaka on them. But if you're like low, basically a normal person, then the most you're going to suffer is like getting lost in traffic. So because these two have so much of a magic skill or a level, these two were definitely suffering from it. But it seems that they are figuring out something's going on here as well. And so then we actually go to the Mayor sisters that we saw in the last episode. They were on this rooftop where they were looking at this grimoire they actually seem to be surrounded, by a magic circle. And they actually, had a guest. It was Dimitri, who we have not seen for a while now. He actually came, and this guy, is still a freaking beast. Because he was able to not only, destroy the familiar with ease, but he also, kind of put some fear into them. So this guy is clearly still a monster, and I do wonder, like who else besides Kojo can really match up to this guy, because he just seems so freaking OP to me. But when one of the sisters actually try to use this grimoire, it actually kind of shocks them, and and rejects them. So that right there was very interesting to me. But then we have Yuuma, who's actually in Kojo's body. She appears, and we actually learn that her mother is the witch of Notaria. So that right there, what was definitely a shocking revelation, because I did not expect that. And apparently she actually wants to use Kojo's body so that she can use his power to free her mother and all the prisoners that are locked up. And the reason why this would be so beneficial to Dimitri is because he's always looking for a strong opponent. And of course, with all these, high-level criminals that are locked up, they are definitely powerful. So at least he could take them all on and not be so bored. So he is going to, let her do that. And we do see that she can actually, use that grimoire. But we actually have Kojo, Yukihina, Asharte, and Kanase. They're all out, and they're enjoying themselves. And Kojo, almost gave in to falling for it, but he realized that they're just wasting time here rather than looking for, his body. And there is a way that they could have quickly, got his body back if Yukina wouldn't use her weapon. But the thing is, if she would have did that, then, Yuma's body and mind, it would have been shattered. So there's no way that she do it on her, but if she do it on Kojo's body, he'll be fine. And we also learned, back at Kojo's place, we learned that, well, according to Yukina, that they didn't really switch bodies. To me, this is where it got confusing. It's more like Yuuma use the power of space and dimensions, kind of to twist them around. So that way Kojo basically kind of got rewired. It's still confusing to me, but to put it simple, they did change bodies. Even though Yukina said they didn't, it's obvious that they did. But when Yuuma and Kojo's body is using his power, we actually see that Kojo can sense it so quickly. Those two are running toward them. But while they're going there, they actually fall, or they actually get sent somewhere else. So they're having trouble doing this. But Asagi, she actually made this program that was converted into an app by Yaze, who this guy is so freaking smart, because he actually worked with that little AI program that Asagi has, and he actually sent that along with a picture of Asagi sleeping to Kojo. And so they were using this app, to get back to this tower, because we see when they got close, they got sent into like a girl's locker room, and they were just so far from it. But luckily, thanks to this app that they have received, they were finally able to make it. And it was definitely cool to learn about this familiar that the sisters have, because once Yuuma is actually using that grimoire, we just see this small little army fleet, just appear out of nowhere, and these sisters using their familiar again, that really couldn't be hurt, and that could shatter any defenses, basically, just do work. So these sisters are definitely, pretty powerful, even though they are nowhere near taking on Dimitri. So that right there was definitely pretty cool to see. But thanks to this app, and once Kojo and Yuuma finally appears, it was kind of like Yuuma was expecting this, because she was saying that it did not take Kojo long to get there. But I do wonder if will Yuuma succeed in freeing her mother, because we all know that Kojo definitely can't fight in her body. And I have a feeling that, Yuuma does have magic powers as well, so she can probably control, Kojo familiars. So this is definitely not going to be an easy battle. They need some serious backup. But this little flashback that we got of when Yuuma and Kojo first met, it was definitely like it was definitely sweet. I did enjoy it a lot because we see that Kojo, he was trying to get Nagisa's hat that had like fell off a cliff and hanging on his branch, but he couldn't do it. But it seems that like Yuuma was kind of like stalking them for a while now, and Kojo knew that, so he actually went to her for help, and by those two, you know, working together, they actually got her hat. So that right there was definitely, you know, a nice moment for the three of them, and I'm glad that we got to see that. But like I said, this episode, it was definitely a great build up because I know next week everything's going to go down. I cannot wait to see, you know, what's going to happen with like Yuuma and Kojo now after all this. But I do have a feeling though that they will be friends, but I definitely know it's not going to be that easy after everything that she's doing, because even though she actually wants to free her mother, she is definitely going about it like the wrong way. But as always, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe because that really helps me out. But as always, you gotta take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.